Uh-oh. Gotta behave. What's up, Mikey? Mm. So what's new, Frank?
Oh, let's see, not too much. Let's see, I think you probably know we were getting a new property manager in Gary, and he finally got the keys to our place. So they went there today to do a scope of work after that tenant moved out. And so that's in progress. The gun lady house is, they said it should be done this weekend. We'll be getting our inspections on Tuesday. And then in the triplex, I don't know if you saw my question in school, but the tenant had mentioned that there was some damage in the floor in the bathroom. And when the property manager checked it out, they are going to need to redo some subfloor, probably put a new tub and shower, new vanity, basically remodel the whole bathroom. And so last time we had a plumbing issue in the same unit for this tenant, and we had put them in a hotel for a couple nights back then. And it looks like we might have to do it again, but this time it's going to be for like 4 nights. And they were asking for a rent credit for the inconvenience. And that's a question I put in school because we're gonna we were planning on paying for the hotel, and folks in the chat in school were mentioning if we're gonna do that, then we shouldn't give a rent credit. So hey, that looks good, Alex. How's the fit?
Thanks, Frank. It's perfect. I love it. Thank you.
Get
Great.
your house, that offer you submitted?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
perhaps.
for me?
Yeah.
Yep. It's locked up. We had the appraisal done today. It looks like it's going good. Um, yeah, everything's looking great. I'm doing VA, so I'm gonna move into it. And do some repairs along the way. I'm gonna get the ADU rented out right away. I mean, I'm gonna do a cosmetic uh renovation there real quick, rehab, and probably a couple weeks and get that rented. And then I'm going to we'll get moved into the other place, and then I will rent out the place. Then I'm gonna build a third bedroom into my two-bedroom house here, and then rent this place out. The other house that I'm going to be living in, so the ADU is one bedroom, one bath, 500 square feet or so, separate, completely separate from the house. And then the house, it's four bedroom, two bath, and there's two mostly finished rooms downstairs that would be bedrooms, but they need in the basement, but they need bigger windows to have egress. So I'm gonna have to get those um, turned to be bedrooms, and um, and then I also want to put a bathroom and a kitchen downstairs in the basement. I don't know how far I'll get with that, but I'll definitely get a bathroom down there. And I'm considering something along the ideas of a sober living house. Not quite sure yet. It's just a maybe something to do with that property, but I think that property would be good for it.
I'd like to know the process for reaching out to them and see how that works.
Okay. I ran into to somebody I know around here looking to buy a car actually. And we were just kind of chit-chatting. He was telling me about that. And I was like, man, that really fits with me. That's something that I can connect with, and it just seemed kind of like fate. So I'm excited to look into it. And I was asking him about it, and he was telling me he was it's not a competition. They don't have enough space for people. And there's different kinds of transitional housing. There's some people from like Department of Corrections that might be getting out of prison or jail after serving their time, and they have some uh, they have some time that the state will pay for them to live in some place like this. You have like private pay stuff. You have people who are finishing a rehab and are pursuing recovery, but maybe aren't quite ready to go home yet or don't really have a home to go to. So, like I said, that kind of tugs on my strings, and I'm really interested in it. I think it'll be cool, but I have a year to figure it out. Like I don't need to be in a hurry, but I'm always trying to think about the next thing. There's also room on this property to build another ADU, I think, on the back half. So the ADU, the DADU is it's 500 square feet uh, attached to the backside of a garage that faces the alley. So the garage faces the alley and the house faces the street. And I think I'll be able to build another ADU out of that garage, change that two-car garage, which is about 500 square feet, into another ADU. I don't know, but there's lots and lots of potential.
Because I've looked into the sober living a little bit, and it looks like it's one of the viable options here in Illinois. So
Um, I started following some. I started looking at YouTube videos because that's something we can
what
do,
else you do? Yeah.
right? And there's some people out there that do it. And I was thinking about looking into that and talking to Jared, because I mean Jared's situation is a little different, but that it's not too different than that shared living, co-living. So all you need to do is connect, grow a network with a slightly different network. So I'm interested. I'll let you know.
Yeah, it just seems like it'd be pretty stable as long as you're stable for them.
Absolutely. Um, a lot of these people are, I mean, they're just trying to, get a second chance at life. We, there's a bad connotation around it. A lot of people, don't look, they think about the worst, right? But from what I've been hearing and the research that I've done, that's not at all what it's like. I Yeah, so I'll let you know. It's definitely interesting to me.
As I see it, they are in the stage of recovery that would compare to us being in the stage of investor, excited and taking action.
Yeah.
My 2 cents.
Yeah, lots of good stuff going on there. Um, let's see. Thanks everybody for coming back this week. Gabrielle, have you been here before?
Hey guys, this is my first day here with the Aura community, so I'm really happy and glad to be here with you. I was actually enjoying your conversation before about how to think about two-car garages and how to be more creative when you have what you have. So I'm a starter. I live in the New York City metropolitan area, in particular in Jersey City, and I am joining this community because, as many of you, I want to try to get as much information as possible out of your experience. And I plan to buy my first long-term rental as an initial investment strategies within the next year. I need time to learn, I need time to understand, and I need time to practice. And that's all.
That's great. Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We have another friend who joins the call that's he's in New Jersey, right? Jacek. I think he's in New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's his name, sorry?
Jacek, he's in school too. Jacek Piksak.
Let me look it up. Let me look him up.
Yeah. So what are you looking for? Like single family?
So yes, as a starter, I know that the first thing I should look for, given I have limited experience, is watching the downside. So yes, I would start from eventually single family or eventually a small multifamily like a duplex. That's what I'm targeting, and that's what I'm looking at right now on the most popular MLS websites, and also when I get the chance to talk to agents and talk to people, that's what I usually ask about. Yeah. What's your experiences that in? Like, what's your target properties?
Well, for us, we have a few. We have a triplex, a duplex, and some singles. But my wife and I live in California. We're investing
Okay.
in the Midwest. So you're planning on buying right in your backyard, in your area?
So where I live, it's a very, very, very high price area. And like, probably the same as yours, Frank. I don't know where you live in California, but I mean, the coasts are very, very expensive. So I was looking to buy properties in an area, I mean, not exactly in my backyard, but in a place where I can comfortably drive to, at least to start off, because I feel that being close to property is not everything, but to start off, I think it's important because you can eventually get there if needed. You can, it's easier to meet people on site, but also off site. And, it's just to start, I feel that that's the right way to go for me based on my situation. But I'm definitely happy to hear what you think about it, you and everyone in this call.
Yeah, yeah. And if you think of any questions or anything you want to talk about, just feel free to jump in whenever you can. We sometimes we go quite long, but tonight I think we're going to try to cut it at 7:30. So the rest of y'all, if you have questions, please get them in. Robbie, it's good to see you.
Gabriel, where are you at on your consumption of the school videos?
So I started today with the let's talk about buy box and getting started, and
Okay.
I plan to digest one video a day. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go with the 30-minute how to get wealthy, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm still at the beginning.
So there's a bunch of how to evaluate and what steps to, like, baby steps to educate yourself in that process. Um, and it's stuff that I've had to go back over and over and over again. So as you learn, like it's more like you learn in your market and you learn in yourself what
Yeah.
you can tolerate and what you want to do. Um, a lot of the videos about, especially with Michael saying do the work, seems to be like you need to be actively doing something like buying or putting offers out or whatever. The reality of it is the better you can learn your market and how to evaluate it and learn what you're drawn to. That is the beginning work that I had to do, at least. So just keep digging in there. There's a lot there.
That's absolutely very helpful. Thank you so much, Charles. And can I just ask you, where did you mentioned that there were videos and resources on it. Do you have the course handy? Like which can I say lesson?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I just went through whatever the video list was, and you've got to click completion,
Yeah.
otherwise you seem to be lost at the
Yeah.
each one of them. I also found that I had to go back through and review because you're going to learn new tools and you're going to learn how to evaluate a property. Um, and then you're going to hear us talk about things that um, kind of seem to be intangibles, but they're not. So the farther you are away from renting yourself, the harder it is to recall what it's like to be a tenant. And it helps you remind yourself of the process and what's important. So don't, as long as you're consistently doing the work, of educating yourself, within the next 60 days, you're going to feel a lot more confident about the questions you ask and the questions you ask of yourself. You'll be able to know the answers because you've simply done the work yourself. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but we're trying.
Buy the
Definitely makes
books.
sense.
Buy Dion's book. Buy Zuber's book, and just read them.
Yeah, but that's not, it's not a single time task.
I will. Thank you so much, Alex, also for your opinion. Yes, I have a bunch of books stacked up here, and I'm going through one by one. So, but it takes time. I don't know.
The-
What's your feel inside, Charles and Alex? What do you guys invest in? What do you plan to invest in?
Go ahead, Alex, if you want to go.
And I'll go first. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so it's pretty expensive. Um, I have, if you count the one I have under contract, 5 properties, and four of them are in the Pacific Northwest, and one's in Arizona. And the out of the four, two of them have 80 or DADUs on them. So both house hacks. I've house hacked the one I'm in now, and it has a pretty nice ADU there. And the other one, the one that I'm buying, has an ADU there. And I'm thinking about adding another ADU. But I would like to go small multifamily from here on out. But you have to be adaptable. Like I can look at it all day long and say, "Hey, this is what I want. This is what I want." But if that's not what the market's gonna give me, then I have to be adaptable. So in this case, that's how I ended up, with this other big single family house with ADU. So I have a plan. I want to kind of follow Dion's um, his ideas and his concepts because he is efficient. That's one thing that a lot of people, when you're looking at your goals, it's one thing to say, okay, this is my goal and this is how I'm going to get there. But I'm looking at my goals and how to get there most efficiently. Another thing is most of my properties and houses, I didn't realize I was a real estate investor. I was just out. I bought one and got divorced and rented it out and bought a different one. It was life events that led me to each and every one of these houses, and they've all been primary residences except for the one in Arizona. So and I bought that just before I realized that I was an investor. So that's actually an alligator. And if you read Zuber's book or follow his content, he's going to tell you stay away from the alligators. And I think in a simple way of this, there's a simple way of understanding that the alligators, they will eat your money, but the biggest concern is they slow you down. So when I'm talking about following Dion because he's efficient, you got to think about if you have an alligator, that's going to slow your progress, and it could slow your progress by 10 years or more. So, anyways, I guess that's my 2 cents. That's my portfolio: 7 units, 5 properties, 2 ADUs. Looking for looking for small multifamily in the future.
So I'm in just the exact opposite of what you guys got. I'm in North Central Illinois, which is cheap for a lot of purchase prices. Taxes are high. Um, Everything else is in pretty good shape. I've got 5 properties. Live in one of them. One of them's just a bare lot, duplex, and 2 single families. Um, 3 of the 5 are 5 acres or bigger. One's the little duplex is kind of cheap. Um, I how should I say this? Uh, as you evaluate and learn the skills and habits you should be developing and paying attention to the market, um, by looking at the areas that you want to rent or what rent brings and what things actually sell for. Um, you'll learn a lot about what type of building or or single family duplex or whatever that works. And then as you learn how to calculate the deals and leave your margins in, I calculate everything high. Like I use 8% on interest. Even though I know I can do better, I just kind of want to make sure that there's plenty of margin. So I'm more about a slow build and the 1 or 2 rentals at a time a year gives you plenty of time to think about it. And Dion often went years between purchases, but his purchases were sound and the property kept growing and didn't eat a bunch of his time. So we got time and we got money. An alligator that eats too much time is just as expensive as an alligator that eats too much money.
I like that, Charles. That's good.
Well, I'm Brian, we got a lot of moisture and rot shows up and mold shows up that you can just keep digging and digging and digging. Ask Flavio some questions. He's got some stuff there. Share your stuff, Flavio.
Um, about what?
Where are you at and what do you buy?
No, I'm in Washington, on the east side. Um, I don't know if you know what, Yakima, Washington. So, yeah, I buy only singles. There's no multifamily. Well, they're multifamily, but they're expensive, and I only can afford singles. So I do a lot of door knocking and direct mail, and that's how I found them. Right now, I'm waiting for. I sent an offer yesterday. He accepted verbally, but I sent the papers. So, but he haven't signed it yet. So I'm waiting on that.
What's your portfolio like, Flavio? What do you
Uh,
have established?
I have 7 rentals and all singles.
You got any headaches?
Oh yeah,
Tell me about some of them.
yeah. I have headaches. I'm evicting right now one of my tenants, so they moving out pretty soon. So I just I just give notice to vacate the house, and yeah, they moving out. So there's not much like a attorney or whatever. Just I asked for the property 14 days, so and they moving out.
So it
But
was
yeah,
a smooth eviction, let's say. They're not always like that, right?
well, what I told them, I give the 14 days notice, and I told them that I'm gonna start eviction, so they should rather move out instead of go to court and all this stuff. So it was an easy transaction.
That's the same thing ours did in Gary too. They gave them a 30-day notice and they were out at the end of that notice. But the gun lady went kicking and screaming. She went all the way through the eviction. They got the sheriff involved. The sheriff was going to go and put her stuff out, and the day before the sheriff went, she moved out. So she got the eviction on her record, and she still left. So I don't know what. And she was Section 8, so we don't
So
know.
you can, so you can put an eviction on the record.
If they go through the process, it goes on their record.
Oh,
Yeah. If they, like you did, your people moved out before the eviction started, so they won't have that on their record. And that's why
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why Matt gets all upset sometimes, because if you like do cash for keys or something, he thinks we're just passing the problem on to the next landlord, and he would rather make sure they go through eviction and have that on their record and kind of protect other landlords with that.
That's great, but he doesn't live in the places that we live, where the tenants have so many. It's,
Oh yeah.
I like that perspective. But and Flavio's here in Washington too, so we got a little bit different challenges than Matt's dealing with over there in the frozen Northeast.
Yeah, and these tenants, I didn't want to evict them, but they was behind on rent, and always was the problem that they behind on rent, and I just got tired.
Yeah, that's another thing that, since you mentioned that, that's another thing we've talked about too, is a lot of, well, it happens with us too. You have that one tenant that is consistently late, but they pay the late fees and they pay before the month is up. So some people think, well, as long as they're paying the late fees, they're okay with that. Some people think the late fees aren't high enough, right? Because in most places for us, it's like $50 if you're late. So I don't think any landlord should be that tight that they're waiting on that payment to pay their mortgage, but
Exactly.
maybe there are some that are. So just need to, I think, set the rules early. I think, you guys know over the last few months, we've been checking in with PMs. We want to stay on that from here on out and not let that process linger, because especially investing so far at a distance, by the time we get an email to them and get a response, 3 or 4 days has gone by, right? So if you miss a deadline through that process, it's going to just extend it and give them another month to stay there, maybe, things like that. So you got to be on the ball.
Mr. Frank, your demeanor and your tone has changed in the last 6 months, and I'm kind of excited.
I'm tired of being stepped on. it and I didn't, I mean, I didn't know any better, right? We Dion teases us about all the different markets and all that stuff, but we got in how we could get in, and now we're learning that we could have done better, of course, but we got what we got. And Matt's all about that, right? You got to learn what's going on. You got to know what's going on. You got to be involved in all these things. And after we went through Matt's course, that helped a lot. And just, I think the biggest thing for me so far was not being afraid to make those calls. Like, in the very beginning, I told you guys, we had our property manager for the duplex in Milwaukee. We kept them way too long and it cost us a lot of money. But this last one that we had in Gary, I'm like, I typed up the letter and I sent it right off, and I didn't have any issue with, being nervous about what they were going to say or what they were going to do. I just said, we decided to move our property to this other property manager. Please make sure that there's a smooth transition and that they get the keys as quickly as possible. And they were fine. They said, thanks for letting us know. Maybe they were tired of me and maybe they were glad to get rid of me, but it went pretty smoothly.
Didn't know you got fired, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing that happens is I always tend to think that other people's stuff might be better than mine. And the more you shop, both rents and properties, you'll get a better idea of what you have, what you're willing to deal with, and what the actual value is for property and rent in your area. So continuing to stay in touch, I guess, with your market, which is part of doing the work, but it 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 just helps guide me. So
That's a great point. And we didn't want to see that. I know there are several people in our community that have had rents soften in their markets, right? And you keep track of that. We check the, every year when the HUD numbers come out, things like that. But that was I don't know what to call it, but when, we had those units vacant, when we bought them, we ran our numbers with the current rents. And then by the time they were ready for rent, property rental prices had dropped by quite a bit. For us, a couple $100 per door. So, I mean, we didn't want to hear, or maybe we didn't want to look at that. We had our blinders on for that. But when it came time to rent them, that was the reality. If you want to rent it, it's going to be, $950 instead of $1150. And so we had to bite the bullet and take it. And I have a call with someone tomorrow that was talking about their rents in their market. I think they're in Florida, that have softened. So they're just, hanging on until things turn around. But hopefully you're in a good enough position that you can hang on.
And Mr. Jim, that thing is like $1,700 minimum an hour.
Another thing, I don't know, squirrel, it got away. But so there's a lot of different advice, a lot of different people with different experiences. Some people have a lot of experience with like co-living or with short-term rentals or mid-term rentals or out of market investing or uh, investing at a distance, dealing with property managers and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably just as important as what your buy box is, what you want to invest in. You got to think about how you want to invest. I think Frank is in 5 different markets. I don't know. I think he's in 5. That means 5 different property managers, 5 different areas, 5 different markets. That sounds terrifying to me. And then I have one property manager. There's one property that I don't manage myself, and that's down in Arizona. And I spend more time and energy working on that property manager than I do my other properties. And that's every aspect of it. That's changing out a toilet. That's whatever I happen to do. I spend more energy on that property manager than I do. Now, maybe if I had 5 like Frank, I'd be a little bit better at managing property managers. But that's a skill that I prefer to develop in the future. Which reminds me of the other point that I was going to make. You can read about all this stuff in books and you can hear us talk about it, but when you, as you're investing, as you're growing your portfolio, and as you're turning into a what's our term? Uh, Wealth builder, everyday wealth builder. As you turn into an everyday wealth builder, you'll learn more and more, and you might find out that you might get, 2 or 3 of these rentals under your belt, and you might decide, maybe this isn't for me. That's why the target is 4, because at about 4, you'll know whether it's for you or not. And so just there's lots of advice, lots of experience, I guess, available to you. And that's one thing. It's great. I could be thinking about one thing, like just this sober living idea. I know that Jared has tons of experience with co-living, and I could probably reach out to him and call him up and have a personal one-on-one Zoom call. And he's down in Arizona too, so we kind of connect there. And he lives up here in the Pacific Northwest, so we kind of connect there. But just starting to get to know who these people are and what they do, and everybody's willing to help one another. That's how we learn. That's how we grow, by helping others. We get better, and it's just a great community.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody jealous yet. I haven't seen it show up. I haven't seen egos or bad advice show up on any of the calls. And granted, this is 7 months into this community and pretty much anything online. But yeah, and you guys got to understand that, like, I grew up in a family that owned rentals, owned farms. And like, I think we've had rentals since 75 to 2002. Then there was a void from 2 to 6 or 8. And then my sister started. So, but the farms have continued. Either we've operated them or we've had tenants on them. Well, pretty much since 1921 of the people that I know in the family. So it takes a while to understand things, absorb things. There for the longest time, I didn't think that I could actually own property. I don't know why, but it's just the way it works. So things come to you at a different rate, I guess is the best way I can explain it to you. But once you start to see it, whether it is real estate investing or another type of investing, you'll know what you know. And you'll start to be able to judge communities. Because not everything feels the way this does. Even though Mr. Jim has given me a bunch of crap. If you don't know the difference here, I'm a pilot and an aircraft mechanic. And my wife, for the last decade, has had a helicopter fun jar wanting a helicopter because she doesn't get motion sickness in a helicopter versus an aircraft. Well, I've flipped a bunch of aircraft in the last decade. None of them have been helicopters. So I always tell her, learn to fly what we already own before we go to it. And this audience doesn't seem to support me, do we, Mr. Jim?
No, we're just having fun.
You said Mark was the trouble. I think
I
you're
know.
catching up to him.
Oh, he has been riding me. Yeah, I sent Mark a text last week with a picture like, this ain't letting up. I'm gonna have to fix this.
No, you just gotta tell me when you want me to stop.
Oh, brother, we're good. You know what I told her? Said, pick me a model. Tell me the model of aircraft you want.
I was gonna bring her a die-cast helicopter to Vegas.
We've had remote controls. We've had the little spinny stick helicopters.
There you go.
She got one from work that was a Lego type of model. Yeah. So anyway, I've been looking at helicopters lately for some reason.
Frank, what happened to your basement flood or whatever that was?
Yeah, it flooded by probably 16 to 20 inches of water. And so the water heaters were okay, but the furnaces have to be replaced. So I think they got them all done. It was $2,600 per water heater. And then the property manager added their 10% on top of that. So it was $5,700 for both.
See, and that's the part I don't like about property owners. Why do they need 10% on top of the work?
Yeah,
They're getting paid their monthly thing. It shouldn't matter.
right. Most of them, so 10%, I guess they consider it like a project management fee because they have to set everything up, they have to coordinate it, they have to go there and let the guys in. The other property manager that we have in St. Louis is 12%. Most of them are 10. The new one in Gary doesn't really do that yet. I think if he's smart, he will because he's spending a lot of time doing that stuff for his clients. He only has, well, Angelo, you know Angelo.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Lindsay says, don't give him ideas.
Yeah.
Frank, mine, the one in St. Louis, it's only 5%.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and my basement also flooded too. So I'm still working. Well, I already got a quote. We're gonna do drain tile plus sump pump, and it's 5%. And I've been bugging him so much. So
Oh, have you? Well,
Did
that's
you
good.
raise the furnaces while you were doing it so this doesn't happen again?
I asked them about that. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of room to raise them because of the ductwork and everything that's in place now. So they just connected. I mean, typically they're a couple inches off the floor, but that doesn't do anything in this case, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and it, like Eden mentioned, our basements in St. Louis have drains. So if it does start to flood, and then they also have some pumps, but
Not for that kind of a storm.
yeah, that was a ton of water.
Yeah.
It was just everywhere. I'm really surprised the water heaters made it through. I was thinking water heaters and furnaces for sure.
Well, if they're sealed units.
Yeah, I believe they were. And
Yeah.
it seems like the water shouldn't be able to get in there, but you never know. And I was thinking that too the other day because somebody mentioned just switching out the circuit boards or whatever on the furnaces. And that's something I'm gonna dive into a little bit to see if that is a possibility. I don't know.
Hey,
If
Jim, your logos are backwards.
See,
You're
when I'm looking
inverted.
at them, they're not. So that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
would you consider a second sump pump, Frank, for your basement?
For Milwaukee
No, for
or
St. Louis.
for St. Louis. No, I don't think so. I think like you and I had a conversation, and remind me, Eden, about the ceiling of the basement, because I wanted to ask these guys what they think too. I don't think a second sump pump. I think in St. Louis, it's more a case of just a little bit of water leaking in here and there. It's not like water coming in from the outside, from the street or anything. So I think we're in better shape there. And this house in Milwaukee, it's basically on a corner lot and it's all flat. So when thankfully the house is up, a foot or so from the street level. So when the water came around, it just went right down in the basement and the house was protected. But I don't think, and like Jim said, with that much water, even 2 sump pumps wouldn't have kept up. Yeah. I meant to remember last week, but Eden and I were talking about sealing, waterproofing, maybe is a better term, waterproofing the basements in St. Louis. And there was a guy who was advertising he was on Facebook or TikTok or something, but he went in and he cleaned everything and then he sealed the walls. And it was kind of like, what did that stuff that Kelly Moore used to sell? It was something lock, like dry lock.
Yep.
So he would paint the walls with dry lock. And I started messaging him and I told him, I don't think the dry lock's going to do it because it's just like a balloon. The water's coming from the outside, right? And that's all latex. So as soon as the water starts to come through, it just starts to, just like in a ceiling, you see this big balloon start to happen and it doesn't keep the water out. So I think he got upset and he took his commercials down. Because in my opinion, that does nothing to protect you. And he was selling jobs all over the place.
Frank, I've had in-ground swimming pools with liners. That groundwater comes in with enough force to float the liner.
Yeah.
You got to pull the liner out and evacuate the water on between the liner and the wall and the floor to get the water out, and then try to restretch the liner the best you can without having too many wrinkles. If water's coming, it's coming.
Yeah, and I mean it was a little bit harder to explain, but I mean Jim understands. But when you build a house, that's when you waterproof the basement, right?
On the outside.
Yeah, from the outside. And if it has to be done after the fact, then you're going to be trenching all around that house and cleaning the walls as best you can, and then putting a new system out there. And that's going to cost a fortune. But in our case, too, Eden, I think the best thing we can do is just make sure that sump pump is working all the time. Maybe have the property managers test it before winter comes to make sure it's pumping away from the house somewhere outside.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And back to what Jim and Charles was saying about, I was going to say, Gabrielle, that a lot of these people have been here with us for quite some time, and there's, I guess I would call them inside jokes. So if you ever hear anything that doesn't sound right to you, feel free to call us on it. But there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and nobody here is ever going to say anything to offend anybody on purpose. So I just want to put that out there.
Well, maybe Mark. He's kind of a punching bag.
If the financial firefighter comes and the screen goes dark, we all left. Let's see. Josh, I'm surprised you're here. Aren't you in the hospital? Or is that tomorrow? I saw a post by Josh. I don't think it was fake, but he said he was getting a new hip.
So one of the
Oh,
main,
he's there. I hope you're doing well.
Is
one of the
Val there?
backups.
I see Val is on here. I wanted to thank him for passing on his ORAS shirt. I had to get off the call, so I missed it. But Mark said that you got a shirt and you donated it to me. So thanks, I appreciate it. Because we all know Mark had that thing rigged.
Absolutely, absolutely. No worries. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're
Good,
good
sir.
now.
How are you?
Good, good. No complaints here.
No complaints. It's a good idea.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So back to your heating problem. One of the things that I've started doing is adding electric baseboard heaters to the critical areas, like bathroom and kitchen.
Hmm.
Um, if you've got room in the panel to add them, as supplemental or emergency heats if the main heating source goes out. And I got that from I think can't remember his name, but his channel's At My Best. He's a East Coast investor, does some videos on whatever, but that's where I first heard it from. He was talking about boilers and boilers failing. And I thought,
Will be a selling.
yes, sir. There
Yeah,
you go.
will be a selling.
Yeah,
Yeah, matter of
the
fact, yeah.
first time I heard that was from him, and I thought, because we kind of did some of that before, but once he laid it out there, I was like, that is a great idea.
But now he's in Connecticut too.
Right, right. Well, I'm a little outside of Chicago and we kind of get some of the same stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
I had that question posted in school about I don't know how it led up to this, but I was talking to some people and we replaced the furnaces, and obviously those are all the ducting and everything is connected with the air conditioning. And we were talking about dishwashers, right? Dishwashers and garbage disposals. Do you have them in your units or not? What do you think about that? But one of the people commented that they don't even have central AC, they just have window units. And I got to thinking about that. It might be a way to save money, but do you think that would be a turnoff to potential renters?
I think it depends on the market.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he said he was in Chicago, and my cousin is in Chicago, and he doesn't do that either. So
he has window units, Val, or no window units?
no window units. No, he don't do nothing for his stuff in Chicago. I can't really speak on my cousin, but but that gentleman that posted that, I think he said he was in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens, Frank, is there's a lot of boilers. So there is no central air as far as an air mover with forced air heat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to add a central air unit without that. So to get zones, mini splits have become quite popular here, especially for add-ons or smaller areas. But a lot of our older stuff, until the boiler is removed and you're putting a forced air in, are zoned, heated, and cooled with window units.
Okay.
I have 3 properties with window AC units, and that's pretty normal here.
Okay. Yeah, I think like the folks were saying, it's market dependent, and I was telling you guys too that at least in St. Louis, well, that's our most recent, the 3 that we filled most recently, and somehow the tenants in the area or the applicants in the area were just like super picky. They were so picky even about the paint and stuff that we ended up repainting the places fresh. So I can see if they're picky about paint that, if they don't have central air, they're really going to be turned off by that.
Yeah, California, we have to have it. Yeah, there's just no way.
Yeah, my mom had AC units in her Sacramento place, but that place was so small. I don't think there was room. I don't think there was even room for a furnace anywhere. It was a tiny little place, but every tenant ended up taking it with them. So, who were we talking to that was? I think the same thing. They were talking about trying to lower their costs, electrical costs, and they might have been somebody in Arizona. They had electric ranges and electric ovens, and
Jared,
was it that something about the
It was-
microwaves, the microwave being the most used appliance in the place?
yeah,
It might,
I
it
think
might have been him. Yeah.
I think it was Jared in panel size, if I recall. Maybe
Mhm.
not. Somebody was down there.
Yeah.
Or
In
was
Arizona, they use
that
a
you,
lot of
Alex?
in Arizona, they use a lot of gas too. So my
Yeah.
range was so my hot water heater is plumbed with gas, but my range isn't. So that's my next step is to get my range plumbed with gas, but that's not going to be until I live there, which is at least 5 years down the road. So I'm not going to do that for tenants.
Okay.
And then for AC down there, it's emergent. If they don't have AC, people die. So that's a high priority there. But here, I was gonna put in central heating and air in my house, the house that I'm in right now. Um, but I've been living without it, and it would just be something that would be nice, and it would cost a lot of money. So I'm trying to think a little bit more like a landlord and an investor as opposed to the way I have in the past. And the way I have in the past has always been I want to each one of my places to be someplace where I want to live and ultimately somewhere where I can live later on. And I still hold on to some of those ideas, but instead of putting I- I'd be honest with you, it'll probably cost 30 or $40,000 to get central heating and air put into my house. And it's plenty of big crawl space. It'd be pretty easy to do. I would actually have it done through some friends, so it probably wouldn't cost me hardly that much at all. But the way labor rates are, I mean, that's pretty expensive, and it's a nice benefit. I would love to just keep my house at the same temperature all the time and not really have to worry about it too much. But it's just not worth the investment here. And then I do have a tenant who um I have it. So another thing, fireplaces and pellet stoves. So those are other appliances. It's nice to have the pellet stoves um, to help supplement the heat, so the tenants aren't stuck just paying high electric bills around here. But even then, now I'm maintaining those pellet stoves. Now I got to make sure they're clean and make sure that they know how to use them and all that stuff. So um, I'm really kind of leaning toward, and all these houses that I have now have all been single family residences that I've lived in and that I've collected before I realized I was an investor. So here pretty soon I'm still trying to make the transition to small multifamily, and I think those have a little bit less bells and whistles. I consider them more a lot more place to stay, or a lot more economical type places where you don't always need the extra air conditioning. You don't need the central air. They're normally smaller places. And yeah, Flavio, I'm over in Bremerton, which is across the water from Seattle. So I could go get on a boat and less than an hour later I'll be in Seattle, but I'm on the west side of the water from Seattle.
Yeah, because basically in this area, I pay like a 12 grand for a whole install, including ducting.
It is way different on your side of the mountains. I need to get your guys to come over here and put them up in a hotel so they'd be willing to do the work over here
Yeah.
because it's crazy.
So I was going to ask Eden, last time you were on, I don't think your new tenant had moved in yet. Did that all go smoothly?
Yes. So he moved in this past Friday on the 15th. So far, I only get a request to get the blind installed on my 9 windows. I didn't know I have 9 windows. And the blind on average is like $80 each. So I'm like, they said, yeah, you could say no, but usually they do. So I kind of bit the bullet and say yes. And so far it's only small requests. I haven't heard anything since then, but I still work on the basement, so that's my item to work on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for us, blinds are usually a thing. I think here in California, I think we're only required to put them like on the street side. I have to double check that, but the people walking by can't look in, things like that. But in the bedrooms, they usually put their own. But yeah, I know we have that triplex in Missouri, and that place has so many windows. It's probably 10 windows per unit, and there's 3 units. So that was expensive when we first got there.
I did not think of it. I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure. So, but yes, today, and it was him by himself. I know I shouldn't say that the gender and but he retired, so and by himself with entire 1,100 square footage. So hopefully, he take care of the house well. But we will see.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So this past week, I had a chance to watch a YouTube video by Brian Tripp. They're in Alabama, and that's what I just throw up there. The video is how to make money in rentals without being a slumlord. The interviewee in that, I think this is as close to a quote as I can get. He says, I think there's statistically a better chance of quality properties bringing in quality tenants, but in my experience, it's been marginal. So he buys the cheap stuff and fixes it back up. So if you want to spend an hour with something,
Yeah.
it was kind of interesting to see somebody's take and what I would call the properties that he was originally buying, definitely slumlords.
Mm.
Did it talk about the market he's in? Were they D-class or?
Frank, I can't totally remember, but this is kind of what Alex was talking about is like, how much do I fix on something versus how much don't I? And where do I want to leave things at? But I think the market was, the location was Huntington, Alabama, I think.
Okay.
So, but it's there if you're interested.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what I'm struggling to, right? This is gonna be my first time, definitely, but of course, they're gonna be case by case, but I'm not sure like which one should I say yes and which one should I say no when it comes to, the request from tenant, or should I just say yes all the time, or how does that work? I'm not too sure.
Well,
What were the request?
I don't think she hasn't had too many yet. So I was going to mention too, Eden, that I know your place is all pretty new, but like we've gone through scenarios as a landlord buying a new property. So, we think, again, in St. Louis, that the city has to do their inspection, right? So we're anxious. We think we're going to get somebody in there. We're going to start collecting rent. You buy the place, you do your rehab, it's ready for inspection. It fails inspection. Then you fix a few more things up.
Yes.
Then you get your inspection to pass. And I've told people before, in St. Louis, it's good for 60 days. So if you don't get a tenant within 60 days, you have to do another inspection. Then, if you're thinking of accepting Section 8, you wait for their inspection and all their approval. Then you finally get your tenant in there, and the tenant starts using the house, and then all these little things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
The slow drain in the tub, the door on the cabinet isn't all the way where it's supposed to be, the kitchen faucet's loose, this window is painted shut, all these little things. I think it's super important to take care of the health and safety issues right away. Like we just had one where the tenant requested that we fix the railings going in the house and then out into the backyard. The railings were loose. So we want to make sure we take care of that right away in case they fall because of a loose railing. But if they, I don't know, if they call up and say, you know, the window's painted shut, that could be a safety issue if they can't get out in case of a fire. So I think you have to think through it that way. Who was it, Matt, talking about somebody nickel and diming him to death? And he finally just said no because the things they were requesting were silly. There was a chip on the granite on the countertop, and that's when you might start to say no, right? Because that's not going to hurt them in any way,
Right.
unless it's a sharp edge or something. And I couldn't see that happening, but so I don't know. Any other examples, you guys, of things you might not fix right away? I think, I don't know if I'm a bad example, but I think because of what we went through to get those units filled, I'm saying yes to just about everything, you know, because I don't want to lose them. I mean, there would be some silly thing that could cost way too much, and I would disagree. But, and like Charles mentioned, I guess my tone has changed over the last few months because that tenant that we're going to put up in a hotel that wanted the rent credit because of the inconvenience. Right now, I'm okay to tell them I'll do the hotel, but I'm not giving the rent discount, and it's okay if you move out. That's where I'm at right now. Last year, there was a plumbing leak and it affected their apartment. So we moved them out for 2 days. We got the repair done. We had to pay for half of their sofa because they couldn't get it cleaned. And I didn't raise the rent because of all that. But this year, if they stay, they are going to get a rent increase. And I'm going to be a little less tolerant of those kinds of demands, I guess.
You're
So,
probably
you know,
going to raise the rent enough to make them question if they want to be there.
yeah, that's the other thing too.
And this bathroom needs to be fixed or
The
needs to be remodeled.
Yeah, so, and I don't know how it got this far along, but they said there was a hole in the floor and they could see down into the basement from the bathroom, right? And when the property manager went to check it out, he said, when I walked in there, the floor was really wishy-washy. So I don't know why they didn't call sooner. They've been in there for about a year and a half. So that's the other thing. I think they could have called sooner, but then to call so late and then start demanding things is not okay with me. So
I'd take less money on rent to get rid of somebody. It's a headache.
Yeah.
mhm.
My
Yeah.
2 cents.
And-
And I would be exploring what time of the market or when I would be looking at putting that on the for sale market.
Yeah.
And this needs to be replaced the whole bathroom or just the south floor, let's say on front of the tub and the toilet.
From what I'm understanding, it goes under the tub as well. So
Okay.
they got to take the tub out, and it's just one of those wall kits. So we did the one upstairs, and they did the tub and the wall kit and the floor and painting and some other things. It was $2,700. So I'm thinking this one's probably going to come in around $4,000.
But
Plus-
why so many days? Like you mentioned 4 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you think about it, because I told him the same thing. He said 2 days at first. The property manager said 2 days. And I'm like, that bathroom isn't going to be ready in 2 days. You got to tear everything out. You got to check the joists, make sure they're okay before you put your new subfloor down. Then you're going to put your new tub. Maybe you're going to change the valves at that time if they're old, right? New shower valves, new wall kit, new window kit. There's a patch behind the toilet that has to be done. new vanity, drywall, and painting. I mean, even with drying times, that's more than 2 days, don't you think?
Yeah. Frank, I would highly suggest, even if I would sister womanize lumber in there, regardless. If it's coming up, I for the extra couple $100,
Yeah, I'm waiting to get their estimate and see what it includes. And then I do give them suggestions, and they've always been okay listening to and doing what I want them to do. So that's been good of them. But
Yeah, and the contractor that's gonna do the job is for sure that's gonna finish in 4 days, because if they start Monday and then they need to do stuff they're gonna do until the other Monday, and
yeah,
you
then
have
they're
to
going to be they're going to get a vacation for a week.
you know how the contractors work.
Yeah,
have they
I know.
located the leak? Is
Well,
it in the
that was
valve
the
or
yeah.
drain?
It was
Supply.
probably a combination of things. They did say the room was super moist, so they're going to put in a vent fan and all those things. It didn't have one before. Probably some splashing out of the tub. You know, that front corner always gets deteriorated. Front and back corner, depending if they close the shower curtain right or anything like that. So I'm waiting to get pictures and the scope of work so I can have a better idea.
How high's the head? Depending on how high you mount it, you can create problems or not.
Yeah,
In other words, if you're always inducing water to a seam, but by the height of the head and depending on your pressure, it's just a matter of time before it finds its way out.
yeah, that's true. I'll find all that out. I haven't had pictures of that unit for a while because they've been in there for a while, like I said.
So Frank, it sounds to me like you have a tenant issue more than you have, a material issue. Now, maybe, you know, maybe after you do all this work, you're you'll fix the material issue, but what's to protect you from it, or what do you think, is going to happen down the road with these tenants? Now, again, the way you manage all your properties from different markets at a distance is just beyond me. It baffles me. So I don't know how hard it is for you to get good tenants, how involved you are in the screening process, and maybe your quality of tenants is not so good. But it sounds like from what it might be time to prune your tenants. I hear people talking about pruning properties, and I'm not too sure that I might want to do that someday, but it's not anytime soon. But there's been times in the past where I have pruned my tenants. Now, the ones that I have now are all excellent. I love every single one of them. And I don't think I got really good at picking them. I think I just got really lucky a couple times, but I did get better at picking them over time. But then again, you're working with property managers, so it'll be different for you. But
Yeah,
I think I'd really consider getting rid of those tenants. I mean, however it is, maybe it's at the end of their lease or whatever.
yeah. I think once this work's done, they will probably have 6 or 7 months left on their lease. And that's what I was thinking that too, because there are some other things. I think we talked last week about the heating bill was so high, and they were shocked. It was like $500, and so they ended up renting a room to someone else. So there's the 2 original tenants and a new person that qualified and is on the lease and everything like that to help them to be able to live there. So, and he stopped, or he didn't stop paying, but he was paying late. He was bouncing checks to the PM and adding up all these fees, right? Because he knew he didn't have the money in there, and he was still writing the checks. So the property manager straightened them out about that, because the 2 that were in there originally said, hey, he's the one not paying his portion. But the property manager was like, no, you're all together as one on that lease. So if he doesn't pay, it basically you haven't paid either. So I think you're right. I think it might be time for them to go. And I think it would be easy to rent that one out. It's the bottom unit, it's the biggest unit, and it is pretty clean. And then too, like you said, with a new bathroom, before they destroy it, it might be time to switch. I appreciate the input.
I would add some teeth into the reporting timeline. So these things don't have a chance to live that long without them knowing that if they ignore it, they could be easily in breach of contract and be removed. It's one thing if someone tears a piece of linoleum or carpet and don't want to say nothing. There's no other problems, but anytime there's a water leak and someone's ignoring it, drain or pressure, that or a roof leak that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So, and it's also a representation of not being inspected often enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's when I was saying that I was trying to remember when was the last time I got pictures of that inside, and it was probably before they moved in. So it's been about a year and a half. So that's on me, I think.
Or your property manager. Like your property
Expectations.
manager should be doing those.
Yeah, I'm waiting on photos because, yeah, that's a good point. He should have had new pictures when they renewed the lease.
Do they give you like a move in checklist, Frank?
Give me a move-in checklist or the
Yeah,
property manager.
from the tenant, yeah.
Yeah, the property manager goes through all that with them, and they do take photos when they're moving in. And if the tenant sees something that they think is not right, they'll take a picture or they'll fix it right away. Like I said, in Matt's case, if there's a chip in the granite or something, we're not going to change the granite, but they will take a picture so we know they didn't do it. It was already done, that kind of thing.
The other thing, Frank, is as I built swimming pools, oftentimes they were brand new pool owners. So I would do what I generically, and I stole this term, but it was called a pool school. And it wasn't so much to educate them about everything. It was about what not to do. Like, do not press down and rotate the multi-port valve with the pressure with the pump on. So educating tenants about when we're in, this is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking under your cabinets. You're going to be walking around your stool. I'm going to be walking around the shower. We're going to be looking at the ceiling for any leaks and feeling for anything. These are the things that if you do not report, we are going to get sideways very quickly. Other stuff, it can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
The things that are neglected that will cost money and cause health issues, mold, I need to know and address pretty much immediately. And the more stern and straightforward that conversation is, pretty much tells me that we are going to go forward or we're not. But that's at a distance, and you've got to be able to communicate that with somebody to do that for you. I don't have a solution there. I'm just lippy.
That's okay. I appreciate all your information. You guys have helped me a ton tonight. I mentioned that we would be stopping at 7:30, so I want to make sure you guys get in anything that is on your minds.
You're asking a lot of this group.
Before Mark gets here. What's that, Jim?
I said you're asking a lot of this group to find out what's on their mind.
Yeah, well, I feel bad when you guys don't come up with questions or anything. I think we wait all week to get on this call and then crickets.
I can't get past Jim's backward logos. Backwards
Still
logos.
backwards?
Yep, still backwards.
I flipped it.
And plus there's two
It's
of
on your
them.
background. It's the
What?
ones in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Jack, when do I need to turn my stuff in if I'm going to come out and see you in a couple weeks? If you can hear me. If you can't answer right now, hit me up in school.
Yeah, I think he's working.
Yeah, he said he was at work. So I feel like I've talked too much tonight, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it goes in waves. So sometimes we need to get stuff out. But and you guys know, I mean, I'm always available if you guys want to. Most of you have my number or the
I need
email.
to subscribe to your Van Talk or whatever it is.
Aren't you subscribed to my channel?
No, I picked Mark over you.
Charles. Oh, that's it. We're out of here. I'll see you guys maybe next week, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. Ray was giving me a hard time because he says he has to bring popcorn and tissues every time he watches one of those. So I don't know. He's crying in his car or something while he watches it.
Ray's pretty good at being quiet and then getting the singer in.
Yeah, there's a bunch of you guys. You and Jim and Flavio is learning from the worst of them, Mark. So he gets his jabs in there too.
Mr. Mark has done quite a bit of good work. I really enjoy helping him, however I can grow that channel because I enjoy it. His interviews have gotten a lot better.
He's had some good ones on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like when he's on with Justin. I didn't get the Cody one, but sometimes I feel well with Cody. I think I'm
So you can.
too old.
I don't feel that way. When you talk to like in Cody's meeting on Sunday or Saturday morning, I've hit a couple. He's gotten some counsel from some older folks.
Hmm.
His responses aren't they're calibrated and calculated.
Yeah,
Because
he's got a good head.
he's thought about how to grow.
He's got a good head on his shoulders.
Like we say in the South, he's an old soul.
An old soul, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, like his poise. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. It's just like to me, he's so calm and I mean, he's calm. I'm not saying like that, but he's very calm and how he explains things, how he articulates it. So it's like you really can't like get upset or he just always seems like he finds a way to make it happen. And it's like how do you get that knowledge being as young as you are? So like you said, it seems like he's an old soul, like he's been here before, if that makes sense.
Well, you going to Vegas?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, I already got my stuff bought. I think we're looking at the downtown Grand.
That's where we at too, sir. My wife, she made reservations earlier this week, so yeah, that's where we at too. So
I think I'll be out there earlier, and Carrie will fly in Friday and bust out Monday.
Yeah, I think we're gonna come in Tuesday. We're gonna come in Tuesday and leave out Sunday. So
Sundays are tough afterwards.
Yeah, Sunday's tough.
Yeah, I know it, but hey, us working, us W-2 folks, we got to get back to it.
You don't know how to play sick?
Nah. Well, hey, we're gonna make. I mean, we're gonna make a week of it, but hey, it is what it is. Get out there and have a good time, and then get back to it. So,
the best advice for calling in sick as a truck driver, right?
What's that?
I got diarrhea.
So
right.
how'd you guys decide on where to stay? Because I haven't been out there. This will be my first time. So, well, at least for something like this. And I think this isn't down by the strip or anything like that, right? It's off the beaten path a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Just
So
mainly,
how'd you guys?
just asking everybody where they stand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that Alex was part of the decision I think it's closer to the blind center. It's a little bit less expensive to stay. The first time we went out, we stayed at the Venetian, and that was a heavy hit, $2,500 for the room.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
So where's everybody staying?
It's nice though. It's a nice place to stay.
What's that, Matesh?
It's a nice place to stay.
The downtown Grand.
No, the Venetian.
Oh yeah, we were spoiled, and honestly, we didn't really spend much time in there, right? Just to get there and sleep and get back up and do it again.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't spend that kind of money, especially if you're out with Mark. He keeps you up all night.
Yeah, and
What I do is I Airbnb, and it's like $50 a night, but I go there with a car.
Yeah.
Well, you're driving from LA, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
4.5 hour drive. But with the car, I stay like off strip about 5 to 10 miles, and I just rent out a room from somebody's house, and it's about $50 a night.
that's quite reasonable. I know Jack and I think Jack and Dylan are getting an Airbnb. Um, and if we end up going, we'll be probably at the downtown Grand also, and we would drive if we went. We drove the
You
first
say
time.
if we end up going, is there a question?
Yeah, it's still up in the air. We I think I've mentioned, but everything last year with our portfolio was so expensive. We're just trying to catch up, and we got to get the reserves coming in. We got to get my work has slowed down a little bit too, so I'm not helping the issue. So we'll just have to see once that time rolls around what position we're in.
Playing catch up.
Get your tickets. We'll get you someplace to crash on a bed, Frank.
Thank you. I can sleep anywhere. It's the queen that I don't know about.
Well,
She's a little picky.
The girls will have the beds, and we'll be on the couch and the floor. I don't mind the floor.
Well, that's what when Dion was here, Dion and Chesla were here, and we had a nice mattress and everything. And I told him it was an air mattress, right? We bought a new air mattress for that space. And he's like, oh, well, I can sleep on the ground. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care about you, but Chesla, I am not going to put her on the floor.
You don't remember, the girls do. Oh,
So, did you see that Mitesh? Eden was asking what part of LA you're in.
I'm in Anaheim.
Anaheim, there you go.
And you, Eden?
I am in
Long
Long Beach,
Long Beach.
not too far.
Very close, very close. About 10 miles away.
10 miles, but 2 hours.
Or 3.
It could be. No, I would say maybe 1.5 at most.
Sounds
So
like
for the ORAC convention, do I need to get a car?
we took a car and we Ubered everywhere. It was just easier.
Okay, so probably not then, right? Because I'll be flying in.
Yeah.
If I stay at that downtown Grand, is that downtown Grand.
Yeah, a lot of us are staying there, and then we just get a couple Ubers and just get everyone goes over there.
Yeah, we'll have wheels there one way or the other. Last year we rented a minivan. Doing the old mom taxi thing.
Yeah. That we went the first year, and I think it was Sunday night, ended up going to we picked a place because we thought they had food and beer and wine and stuff. But when we got there, they didn't have food. It was like a beer, whatever they call them, a tap room or something. But they had a catering truck that was parked outside, so we all got to eat, and it was a really good time. And then everybody was leaving to go somewhere else, and we called the Uber, and everybody left. We were sitting out there. It was me and Mikey and Cynthia and Cody, I think. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting and checking for the Uber. And we saw the Uber getting close, and then they stopped, and it was probably 45 minutes before they finally got there. And it was a woman in the car, and she was saying that she almost didn't come because of the area that we were in. And we didn't know it was a bad area. You know, the building, the business was right there, and it was a huge parking lot. Kind of like it, now that I think of it, it was kind of industrial, but we didn't like feel bad being there. But she was like, "Yeah, I stopped," and we saw her stop on the app, and we didn't know what was going on. That I almost didn't come get you, so we could have been out there forever. I would have hated to have to walk back to civilization, but we had some adventures.
I think that's what's better about being closer to downtown. There's more activity.
Yeah, and you might not have to Uber too far. I think if you do, it'd probably just be from your hotel to the event, mostly. I think it's within 5 or 7 minutes of downtown, right?
And there's not much parking at the event.
Yeah.
So, what are you working on, Jim? Drawing helicopters?
I'm watching a fire.
Fire. How close is it to you?
For me, about 30, 40 minutes, but my actual tractor guy that was here all day for the last 2 days, he's getting evacuated.
Oh,
So I'm checking in with him, trying to find out if he needs anything.
I didn't realize that was still going.
This is a different one.
Oh,
This one just started today. It's at 400 acres right now. And it just started 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago.
is it windy?
Yes, it is windy.
Yeah. Yeah. Something we don't have to worry about here.
Don't
Yeah.
you got the tornado? Where you at?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
got tornadoes, hurricanes.
Tornadoes and hail and yeah, salt. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good things and there's some bad things. So just
Downtown
keep
Vegas, the prices have really come up to almost strip level. Nothing is cheap down there anymore.
yeah. There were some articles recently though that some of them were giving free parking and taking away what are the resort taxes, things like that. And I just noticed because Mikey and I were checking the room rates, and the first time I checked, ours would have been like 1,200, and they emailed me again saying it was 1,000. So they might be a little more desperate than we're thinking.
Well, I think all the rates are down. There's less people going right now. There's really no free parking downtown either,
Mm.
unless you get lucky. Yeah, and the prices for food and stuff, it's gone up quite a bit. It's not like it was before. Now
Yeah.
the place that's still like locals pricing is in between. It's called the Arts District, between the Stratosphere and the Plaza, but closer to the Stratosphere
Mhm.
on Main Street.
Oh,
And that place has a lot of restaurants and breweries, and the pricing is like locals pricing.
yeah, I saw there was a coupon that came in today that said, I think it was from the Venetian, and not that it would make a huge difference there, but it was a 25% off your meals and a $40 voucher per day for meals.
That's nothing. The prices there are so it's. I mean, I think parking's like $30-$40 a day right there.
Yeah, it was $40 a day. And
Yeah.
well, and then people were arguing because they thought if they paid 40 to park, they shouldn't tip the valets, which I could see. I mean, $40 plus a tip. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for us it was not bad to Uber around. We did Uber quite a bit the first time, but I think this time we wouldn't be, if we're downtown, we wouldn't be doing that too much.
I did see for downtown Grand they had a special, like $100 a night on the weekend, and there's no resort fee or anything like that. It's $100, and they give you, I don't know, I think $25 to eat. And that's the weekend. The weekday was like $75 a night.
Yeah, that's pretty good because I think on average for the ones we were looking at, it was like 130 to 150 a night.
Yeah,
I'm
so
looking right now, and that's what I'm seeing. 127, 137, 147.
Mm-hmm. And
the offer I think was for only like this month or next month. I can double check the email.
yeah, that's the other thing because we would be there from the 11th to the 17th. And Mikey has a great idea. He always waits for Black Friday and checks the rates, and he got good prices last year or the year before.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's all about saving money and using credit card points and stuff like that. I'm just diving into that right now because through our business, we have a few this time, a couple 100,000 points, but you can't really use them at the downtown Grand. So we're looking at the option of cashing them in, and it would still be enough to pay for the room and pay for the car rental. So that might be a good way to go.
I travel for work, so I try and use the points for my personal travel.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Mark I go out there every once in a while, so next time I'm out in Hawaii, I'm gonna try and meet up with him and Mikey.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So here's the offer in June. Well, the email is in June. $35 midweek and 85 Friday and Saturday, and half off the resort fee.
Yeah, that's really good. Did it have like an expiration date?
That I don't know. I'm trying to look here.
I guess you would know.
It's probably a summer special
Yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
limited.
because it's hot. It's hot in Vegas right now. Nobody wants to go there.
Yeah. Well, Zuber had talked a
Sure.
couple weeks ago about just the overall decline of business out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's poised to clean up. I think he's going to make good decisions out there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, Eden and Jack, I got both of your messages. Thank you. So if you need me to swing by St. Louis, don't be afraid to ask. I don't know how much I can do for you, but I can take pictures and maybe harass somebody.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank
That's the
you.
part I need.
Yeah.
Well, don't be afraid, guys. I mean,
No, thanks, Charles.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm trying not to be at work full time, trying not to go broke. You know how this works.
Exactly.
Trying to slowly buy your time back. So, yeah, so much of this stuff comes from maybe not my personal experience. It's from what I lived through as a kid. You just seen it.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, a lot of the shenanigans, I was the problem for a while
The instigator.
in life. I mean, it just wasn't doing well. So, end of the week. Okay. Yeah, I will. Jack, if you need me to get some money into you or something, let me know, or send me however that works. So I at least want to go out and see what's going on there. It's a way of calibrating my eye to different markets. And so it seems like even the very cheap properties here have a $300 a month minimum that you've got to add to them before you even start adding anything else. And that's just properties and insurance or taxes and insurance for most everything here in Illinois. No, you get up in the city and it gets a lot more expensive, but we're talking the sub 50,000 stuff. I mean, you get into $150,000 stuff, depending on the zip code, and you could be at $5,000 in taxes. So that's, what, 500, almost $500 a month. Plus, you know, whatever insurance is, $100, $150. So. And
So I have another offer here from Downtown Grand. Emails on August 8th. $99 Sunday through Thursday, $125 Friday and Saturday. And you
Yep.
get $40 of play every day and $25 credit. No resort fee, free parking, and a free room upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're seeing a little bit more of that these days. Hopefully it'll last until February.
yeah, I
let me
think
see.
reserve early just to make sure I can get whatever I can.
Yeah, I think you can do that. And I think if you get a better price on Black Friday, then they will honor that.
Yeah, I'm not waiting until Black Friday.
Mhm.
No, I'm too much of a control freak.
Sure.
So,
Okay, guys, looks like we hit our time. So I will hopefully see you all next week.
I
And
know your motives.
during during the week, if you guys have anything I can help with, you know how to get a hold of me.
yeah.
All right.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
Have a good night.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have a
Good
good
night.
night. See you, Val.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too, sir.
Bye.